answer is yes, get down to Hickory Hollow Carnival Kia right now, and please don't you leave till you see me.
Tonight, Mitt versus Mo. Will John McCain's momentum hurt Mitt Romney's hometown advantage? It's primary night in snowy Michigan. I'm Katie Couric. Also tonight, a wallet full of worries. Wall Street dropped sharply after government reports raised new fears of a recession and inflation. And America's biggest bank posts its biggest loss ever. Plus, most people who go to an emergency room need attention stat. Why it's taking longer than ever to get it.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Good evening, everyone. Well, it's Michigan's turn tonight, squarely in the presidential primary spotlight. And voters had one issue on their minds, above all others, the economy. In a CBS News survey of Republican voters leaving the polls, more than half named the economy as their chief concern, far ahead of Iraq. Perhaps those Michigan residents are responding to new signs of trouble for the economy. The government reported today that wholesale inflation last year was running at the highest rate in more than a quarter century. And retail sales fell in December, capping off the weakest year since 2002 and raising fears we're heading into a recession. Wall Street reacted to that with a huge sell-off. The Dow lost 277 points. Also rattling the market today, a bleak earnings report from Citigroup. Anthony Mason crunches the numbers tonight.
For America's financial giants, it's the worst period since the Great Depression. Citigroup, the country's largest bank, lost nearly $10 billion in the last 3 months of last year. It'll cut 4,200 jobs after suffering $18 billion in mortgage-related losses. And it's not alone. Merrill Lynch, with $8 billion in mortgage losses already on the books, is expected to announce another $15 billion later this week as the housing crisis continues to take its toll.
I'm expecting some further period of difficulty. It's so hard to say how long this movie is going to last.
Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke tried to reassure the markets last week.
The banking system remains sound.
But banks are scrambling to raise new capital wherever they can get it, and that means overseas, from Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Abu Dhabi in the oil-rich Middle East, and China, South Korea, Japan, and Singapore. Together, foreign investors have kicked in close to $40 billion to prop up America's banks.
To some, the big Wall Street banks are victims of their own lax lending practices.
Those banking practices are responsible for the subprime meltdown, lagging consumption, and the recession.
Yes, economist Peter Morisi says the housing crisis is taking the economy down too.
This recession wasn't created on Main Street, it was manufactured on Wall Street.
Whoever takes the blame, the economy is clearly paying the price for it. Anthony Mason, CBS News, New York.
Now to that Republican primary in Michigan, where pre-election polls showed national frontrunner John McCain in a tight race with Mitt Romney. We have a team of correspondents deployed to report on this latest round in the primary battles. First, Bill Whitaker, who is covering the Romney campaign. And Bill, Mitt Romney is the native son in this primary. How badly does he need to win there?
Well, Katie, Mitt Romney calls Michigan a want-to-win state. But to just about everybody else, it looks like a must-win.
Thank you.
Romney sometimes sounds like he's running for president of Michigan.
And I will not rest until Michigan is back.
Romney's mantra, like Bill Clinton's in 1992, it's the economy, stupid. In fact, 68% of today's GOP voters said the U.S. economy is in bad shape. With Michigan's lifeblood auto industry hemorrhaging jobs, Romney promises more federal dollars and fewer regulations.
Did any of that click with you?
It's not enough to gain my vote.
Romney didn't win unemployed auto worker Shane Galvin, but he did sway Dottie Hammond.
He understands the auto business, and that's very important to all the unemployed auto workers that we have in the state.
Romney was born here. His father was governor here.
Does he have to win here? Maybe not, but if he doesn't win here, it's fair to ask, where can he win?
Now, Romney says win or lose, he's in this at least through Super Tuesday. Katie?
Bill Whitaker. Bill, thanks. For John McCain, it's all about keeping his momentum going after his big win in New Hampshire. Chip Reed is covering the McCain campaign. And Chip, the candidate's in South Carolina now, but his mind must still be in Michigan.
Absolutely, Katie. He arrived here in Charleston, South Carolina, a short time ago after a frenetic day of campaigning in Michigan. Now, of course, he would love to win in Michigan, but now that he's the national frontrunner, his campaign will certainly continue, win or lose.
Wearing his lucky Election Day sweater, John McCain predicted a close race in Michigan.
We're depending on Republicans, Democrats, Independents, Libertarian, Vegetarian, Trotskyites.
He's not entirely kidding. 8 years ago, he won in Michigan with the help of independent and Democratic voters who can vote in the Republican primary. McCain today also made a final pitch to voters worried about Michigan's economy.
The federal programs that we have now for displaced workers don't work.
And he gave special attention to one of his strongest constituencies, the military, both active duty and veterans.
Our veterans are not receiving the health care they deserve today, my friends.
Now, McCain's military experience and his support for the Iraq War are expected to give him a big advantage in Michigan and even a bigger advantage here in South Carolina. Katie?
Chip Reed in Charleston tonight. No one is expecting a surprise win in Michigan by Mike Huckabee, but he is hoping for a good showing there. Nancy Cordes, who's in Lexington, South Carolina, is covering his campaign. And Nancy, Huckabee didn't totally ignore the Wolverine State, did he?
Well, just about at first, Katie. He was planning on only spending one day in Michigan, but then he got back here to South Carolina over the weekend, changed his mind, turned right around and headed back up north. He hit a couple of factories there. He visited some polling sites, talking about cutting taxes, talking about reducing government regulations on businesses. This morning, I asked him why he decided to give up precious time in South Carolina, where he has a real shot of coming in first.
We wanted to show that we're in play even in a northern industrial state, and quite frankly more so than I think people would have expected, especially when you consider John McCain won here 8 years ago. Mitt Romney's from here. It's not like I can go around and throw my dad's name out and make that open the door.
He'll be here in South Carolina watching those returns, Katie, to see if that gamble paid off.
All right, Nancy Cordes, thank you very much. Time now for some analysis from our two political pros. Bob Schieffer is our chief Washington correspondent and anchor of Face the Nation. Jeff Greenfield is our senior political correspondent. Let's take a look at the exit polls. Gentlemen, first of all, when it comes to the polls, most of the people who came out today are Republicans.
That's right. This is an open primary. Democrats and independents could vote. But the fact is the great majority of people, if these numbers hold up, are Republicans. And the important part of that is to contrast what happened in 2000. Back then, when McCain won, the majority of voters in the Republican primary were independents or Democrats. So the more Republicans there are, that means McCain is going to have to win if he does it in a very different way.
And Bob, John McCain can't be all that jazzed about the breakdown so far.
No, I think not, because you contrast it with what happened the last time. These are Republicans, but they're not necessarily John McCain's voters.
Why is that?
Well, John McCain has always been sort of a maverick. He's always been willing to challenge the authority, and a lot of Republicans have not forgiven him for that. This is not shaping up as the kind of vote that would be good for John McCain.
And I think our exit polls are showing that the Republicans who did turn out are more conservative than moderate. Meanwhile, motivated by what? They were more motivated by issues than personality traits,
That's right. A majority of those who, if these numbers hold up, we know about polls, but if they do, they were issue voters. And again, why is that significant? Look at New Hampshire last week. In New Hampshire, most of the Republicans, those in the primary, said they were voting on personal qualities, leadership. The personal quality leadership voters went with McCain. The issue voters went with Romney then. If that holds up, that's another sign that it's wide open.
In fact, if it does turn out to be three big winners and three big contests, boy, it's anyone's guess, right? And it could be good news for Rudy Giuliani.
I think it's good news for Rudy Giuliani. It's good news for Thompson. The more candidates that are in there, the worse it is, it seems to me, for John McCain, who is now leading in the national poll.
So a divided electorate works to some people's advantage.
And there's been no Republican primary like this since the dawn of primaries. They're an organized party. They like a front runner. This time, good luck finding one.
All right. Jeff and Bob, thanks so much. The Democrats do have a primary in Michigan tonight, but there's very little at stake. Among the top-tier candidates, only Hillary Clinton appears to be on the ballot, along with Dennis Kucinich and uncommitted. Barack Obama and John Edwards pulled out after the Democratic Party stripped Michigan of its convention delegates as punishment for holding its primary so early. Obama and Edwards supporters have urged voters to mark uncommitted on their ballots. In other news tonight, federal investigators have zeroed in on the likely cause of last summer's tragic bridge collapse in Minneapolis. The steel connectors known as gusset plates were simply too thin. Ben Tracy, now with CBS News, covered the story extensively as a local news reporter in Minneapolis and has the latest.
It was a rush-hour commute collapse that took 13 lives and raised countless questions about the safety of the nation's bridges.
We have good reason to believe that the failure began up in here.
Today, National Transportation Safety Board investigators said they have discovered a critical design flaw in the bridge. 16 steel plates that held the bridge's beams together were too small, a half-inch thick when they should have been twice that. Instead of being the strongest parts of the bridge, they were some of the weakest.
It was a shock to, if you will, the investigating team.
There are 465 similar bridges in the U.S. Investigators don't expect to find the same design flaw, but said today those bridges should be thoroughly checked before weight or capacity is increased. The investigation into the Minneapolis collapse is now focusing on whether some heavy construction equipment on the bridge was the extra weight that snapped those already weak plates. Ben Tracy, CBS News, Washington.
Turning to food safety, after years of study, the FDA said today meat from cloned cows, pigs, and goats is safe for consumers. But with polls showing nearly 2 out of 3 Americans not particularly comfortable with the idea, experts say it could be years before meat from cloned animals winds up on your dinner table. Now a little presidential history. You don't often see presidents carrying swords these days, as General George Washington did. But in Saudi Arabia today, President Bush picked up the tradition and the sword, though not all that willingly, it appears. He was swinging and swaying to a sword dance, arm in arm with his Saudi host. There is much more CBS News ahead. Every second counts when you're having a heart attack, so why does it take so long to get treatment in an emergency room? And Social Security is a vital safety net for disabled workers. Up next, why so many claims are denied. A CBS News investigation.
Introducing Payne's newest Vanishing Act.
New Icy Hot Vanishing Scent. Now the power of Icy Hot glides on icy to dull pain, then gets hot to relax it away, and the scent vanishes.
New Icy Hot Vanishing Scent. Make pain and scent a Vanishing Act.
Her bread always came from her oven. Her pot roast took all day. That's how grandmas show their love. Marie Callender's does it with the flaky crust and juicy white meat in her chicken pot pies. Marie Callender's.
I have COPD with chronic bronchitis, which makes it hard to breathe. But now that I'm breathing better with Advair, I can cheer my grandson to victory.
For people with COPD with chronic bronchitis, great news. Advair helps significantly improve lung function. While nothing can reverse COPD, Advair is different from other medications because it's the only product with an anti-inflammatory and a bronchodilator working together to help you breathe better. Advair won't replace fast-acting inhalers for sudden symptoms and should not be used more than twice a day. Lung infections, including pneumonia, have been reported with Advair. Taking Advair may increase your risk for osteoporosis and some eye problems. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking Advair, and ask about the risks and benefits of continuing Advair after 6 months.
Thanks for coming, Grandpa.
I wouldn't have missed it. Ask your doctor how Advair helps improve lung function for better breathing.
Find out how to get your first full prescription free at advaircopd.com.
It's a lonely feeling. While the rest of the world is sleeping soundly, you've woken up in the middle of the night asking yourself,
why am I up again?
That's why only Ambien CR has 2 layers of sleep relief. The first dissolves quickly to help you fall asleep fast. Plus, unlike other sleep aids, there's a second layer. It dissolves slowly to help you stay asleep. Until you know how Ambien CR will affect you, you shouldn't drive or operate machinery. Be sure you're able to devote 7 to 8 hours to sleep before being active again. Sleepwalking and eating or driving while not fully awake with amnesia for the event have been reported. In rare cases, sleep aids may cause severe allergic reactions such as swelling of your tongue or throat or shortness of breath. If you experience any of these behaviors or reactions, contact your doctor immediately. Side effects may include next-day drowsiness, dizziness, and headache. It's non-narcotic and can be taken for as long as your prescriber recommends. However, like most sleep aids, it has some risk of dependency. Don't take it with alcohol. Ask your prescriber about Ambien CR. Remember, CR for a good night's sleep from start to finish.
Millions of Americans who are physically unable to work count on Social Security disability payments to make ends meet. But as we revealed last night, most claims are initially denied or delayed. Tonight, our chief investigative correspondent, Armin Katayan, explains why.
2 years ago, 52-year-old Sherry Farner was a manager at this Denny's restaurant.
I can't be left alone because I fall a lot.
But heart problems, strokes, and kidney failure put an end to her employment.
This is the hardest thing I've ever been through, and I would wish this on nobody.
When Farner filed a claim against a lifetime of paying into federal Social Security disability, she was turned down twice, even though a rejection letter acknowledged she was severely disabled, but not disabled enough, unable to perform work of any kind.
It is a very tough standard, and you can argue about whether that should be the standard or not, but I'm stuck with that.
A 2-month CBS News investigation uncovered a system whose own standards have been called into question. A federal agency reeling from budget cuts and high staff turnover. Doctors making decisions outside their specialties, and inexperienced examiners under pressure to keep costs down.
We're failing the disabled on a very large scale.
Tricia Cardillo worked inside the system for years, reviewing disability cases in Ohio. She now fights for those seeking disability benefits.
There were a lot of times when I was fighting with management because I wanted to approve a claim, and I had to go through so many steps and jump so many hurdles to do that. It just seemed ridiculous.
All part, says Cardillo, of a culture built on denial. Examiners warned by their superiors that approving claims today could cost the government millions tomorrow.
So are you saying, in essence, there was a quota system? You couldn't go above a certain quota for approvals?
Every state had different numbers, but they know that a certain percentage of people, once denied, will never file an appeal.
CBS News has learned that 2/3 of all applicants denied last year, nearly 1 million people, simply gave up after being turned down the first time. Given how many claims are ultimately approved, that could mean hundreds of thousands of Americans are not getting the benefits they paid for and deserve.
One of the state examiners we talked to told us that people were singled out, talked to, if they approved too many claims.
You can approve too many and you can approve too few, and they're both wrong.
That's not what the examiner told us. She said that in her state, there were quotas to be kept at a certain level.
It's not the way the system works.
Well, that's the way it worked in her office.
You can always find a disgruntled person.
But we found nearly 36 former examiners from 14 states who told us about a system-wide culture to deny. And a review of 50 cases across the country reveals patients diagnosed with strokes, heart attacks, even brain cancer, rejected for disability payments.
Nobody cares if a case is denied. If you approve it, it will be subjected to intense scrutiny.
No surprise to Sherry Farner, whose case was finally approved by a judge a few weeks ago, after a 2-year wait, but not before losing her car, her life savings, and nearly her home. Armin Katayan, CBS News, Atlanta.
For a list of resources for disability benefits, you can go to cbsnews.com and click on CBS Evening News. Coming up next, time is critically important in a hospital emergency room, so why are patients waiting longer than ever for treatment?
This time of year, my dandruff really shows.
And my old shampoo didn't stop the itch, so I switched.
Selsun Blue, doctor recommended for flakes and itch. Aloe and moisturizers for healthy hair and scalp.
Never wear black without the blue.
Selsun Blue.
Who makes chicken noodle soup as good as your grandma?
I do, because I make it with Swanson broth.
Swanson broth is made with all natural chicken stock and the flavors of garden vegetables and herbs.
My secret is Swanson broth.
For more recipes, visit swansonbroth.com.
Married 42 years and never a day apart. When Bill was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, each day became more precious. We talked to his doctor and found out about prescription Aricept.
It's thought that Aricept may reduce the breakdown of a vital chemical in the brain. Aricept is the only treatment approved for all stages of Alzheimer's disease, mild, moderate, and severe.
Studies showed Aricept helps with memory and performing everyday tasks. Aricept is well tolerated, but not for everyone. People at risk for stomach ulcers or who take certain other medicines should tell their doctors, because serious stomach problems such as bleeding may get worse. Some people may experience fainting. Some people may have nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, bruising, or not sleep well. Some people may have muscle cramps or loss of appetite, or may feel tired. In studies, these were usually mild and temporary. Don't wait. Ask your doctor about Alzheimer's treatments, including Aricept. If it helps Bill be more like himself longer, that means so much.
Vitamins and minerals of Centrum. There's a new member of the Centrum team that can fight cholesterol in new Centrum Cardio.
I'm Cardio, an all-natural ingredient, together with the only complete multivitamin that can lower cholesterol. Benefits may be seen in as little as 4 weeks.
Why are we doing this?
Just like cholesterol, we're going
Working better together.
From A to Zinc.
New cholesterol-lowering Centrum Cardio.
Glad Force Flex trash bags are so strong. One bag is all you need to pick up the pieces from even your biggest disasters.
Where do you want the piano?
Get Glad Force Flex and find out why 7 out of 10 consumers prefer it over the other leading brand.
If you're having a health crisis, you'd like to think you can count on getting quick treatment in a hospital emergency room. But a new study shows the wait is getting longer. For example, for heart attack patients, 10 years ago, the average wait was 8 minutes, but by 2004, it was up to 20 minutes. Dr. John LaPook has tonight's Eye on Your Health.
Bag of saline and tubing, please.
The emergency room has become a waiting room, according to a study of more than 90,000 ER visits.
My mother was seriously ill for a couple of years, and I frequently had to take her to the hospital, and we often waited 3, 4, 5, 6 hours.
And did that tick you off?
Tick me off? Yes. Yes.
A report finds emergency room waiting times have increased 36% since the 90s, from an average of 22 minutes to 30 minutes.
Patients who are arriving to the emergency department with time-sensitive illnesses may not be receiving the care that they need given these longer waits.
Why? The number of ER visits has increased, and the number of emergency rooms has decreased.
Because of hospital closure, the number of inpatient beds nationwide has shrunken, while at the same time our population is getting older, requiring more inpatient care, and they're getting sicker.
Cambridge Health Alliance hospitals have been able to reduce waiting time 18% over the last 6 months through steps like better scheduling of elective surgery. But making hospitals more efficient is not enough.
Improving care inside the emergency room depends on solving a major problem outside of it. With 47 million Americans lacking health insurance, the emergency room has been taking the place of the primary care doctor. Dr. John LaPook, CBS News, New York.
From man to moose now, and an emergency on ice. In Washington state, a 2-year-old moose wandered into the middle of an ice-covered lake and fell through. Rescuers spent about 2 hours trying to save the animal before it finally managed to pull itself to safety. Coming up next, how would you like to hang this over your sofa? Well, somebody just bought it, and you won't believe the price.
Busting the myths about statins. Millions of us take these costly pills to help lower cholesterol. But do you really need them? Our special report, Thursday on the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Steaming. It's never been used like this before.
We used a new way of steaming to create cafe steamers.
This new and unique steam cooker lets you lock in all the naturally fresh flavors by steaming in your microwave. Try new Healthy Choice cafe steamers.
Now make a 3-inch incision between the 4th and 5th abdominal muscles.
Shouldn't you be doing this?
Making important financial decisions on your own doesn't make much sense either. That's why Edward Jones prefers meeting clients face to face.
Get close anytime. Now you can receive free scope when you buy 3 Fix-It creams.
Dry skin praying for extraordinary moisture.
Olay Quench Body Lotion delivers lush, heavenly moisture. For skin so quenched, it's saturated with beauty. Olay Quench.
Are you like me? I have high blood pressure and I have high cholesterol. Sometimes problems come in twos, but sometimes help can come in one. Catawit. Catawit contains 2 proven medicines, Norvasc for high blood pressure and Lipitor for high cholesterol, combined in 1 pill. Catawit. Catawit is one of many treatment options that I discussed with my doctor. Ask your doctor if Catawit is right for you. Along with diet and exercise, 1 pill doing 2 jobs for me. My doctor said Catawit is not for everyone. It's not for people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. To check for liver problems, you need simple blood tests. Tell your doctor about any heart problems and all other medications you are taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as they may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect. For blood pressure and cholesterol-lowering benefits, it's Catawit. 1 pill, 2 medicines. Makes sense to you? Makes sense to me. 1 pill, 2 medicines. Ask your doctor if Catawit is right for you.
Instant gratification has us in a stranglehold. So much so that we don't want to fix things anymore. Just replace them. Don't like your nose? Get a new one. Don't like your job? Get a new one. Don't like your spouse? Get a new one. Whatever happened to commitment?
The 2008 Sonata, ready for the long haul with America's best warranty and $1,000 cash back.
Coming up in just moments on News Channel 5 at 6, it was a Middle Tennessee bank robbery with 2 different locations and ended with the death of 1 man. We'll have details tonight at 6.
Finally tonight, most people consider graffiti a real eyesore, but in one corner of England, it's become a sensation thanks to a mysterious painter who's creating art that's literally off the wall. Here's Elizabeth Palmer.
It's just a spray-painted scrawl on a whitewashed London wall. Graffiti to most. But today it's sold on eBay for $400,000. Why? Because it's the work of British cult celebrity street artist Banksy.
At £140,000.
His stencil paintings are so collectible that at a Sotheby's auction last month, several doubled their asking price. Most, though, are dotted around the grungier parts of London, where they amuse and sometimes shock passers-by.
His art may be everywhere, but Banksy himself works very hard to stay right out of sight. The best guess is his real name's Robert Banks, and he's a 30-year-old high school dropout from Bristol.
On YouTube, fans have posted video clips of someone, allegedly Banksy, caught in the act of graffiti. Here in Portobello Road, though, no one saw him. But the building's owner spotted a gold mine. He turned to eBay, and 69 bids later, a mystery buyer had snapped it up. Overnight, it's become a neighborhood landmark. But everybody's puzzled by the same thing.
But I want to know how they're going to get that wall down. That's what I want to know.
The landlord wouldn't talk today. But the new owners of the graffiti had better take their Banksy away soon.
But someone nicked one, and they did take a wall down.
In this part of town, even the walls aren't safe from thieves. Elizabeth Palmer, CBS News, London.
And that is the CBS Evening News. I'm Katie Couric. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, click on CBSNews.com. Brought to you in part by Crest White Strips. Crest White Strips Premium is designed to hold the whitening gel in place longer for better results. In fact, each strip gives you twice the whitening of one dissolving strip. Crest White Strips Premium.
A man is dead and a woman is fighting for her life in a Nashville hospital after a double shooting in Lewis County. I'm News Channel 5's Mark Bellinger, and I'll have a live report.
Imagine being told you owe $50,000 in back child support and the kids aren't yours. We'll explain.
And a major shakeup in the Titans coaching staff. We'll have a reaction from players.
Plus, new information tonight about our exclusive story that highlighted a security breach that threatened the safety of our water.
And we have dry weather as we move on into this Tuesday evening, but down along the Gulf Coast, some moisture moving northward could make for a wintry mix. Your news begins now.
from your news and information leader, Tennessee's first and only local news in high definition. This is News Channel 5 at 6.
Good evening, everyone. A bank robber is dead tonight.
Yeah, police say they shot him after he took a hostage.
Several people witnessed the incident in Montgomery County. News Channel 5's LaCheryl Tucker is live. LaCheryl, along Wilma Rudolph Boulevard in Clarksville, where it all went down.
When I heard the siren, I thought it was an accident at first.
Broken glass.